In this video, you will learn about the composition of functions, which is another way to combine two functions to create a new function. So in this case, we just have to substitute an entire function into another function. Let's say we have functions f and g. So the notation of the function f with the g is this one, f of g of x, which is just equivalent to this one. Okay, and this is read as f of g of x, which means that wherever there is an x in the function f, it is replaced with the function g of x. So let's solve some problems here. Okay, we're given here functions f of x and g of x. F of x is equal to x plus 5 and g of x is equal to negative x squared minus 5x. Then we find f of g of negative 4. So we just have to find f of g of x. Okay, so that would be f of negative x squared minus 5x, because our g of x here is negative x squared minus 5x. Then we substitute this value to the f function. So that would be negative x squared minus 5x plus 5. So we just replace x with g of x. Then we simplify. This is negative x squared minus 5x plus 5. So this is our f of g of x. And now we can solve for f of g of negative 4. We just have to plug in the value of x, which is negative 4. So f of g of negative 4 is just the negative of negative 4 squared minus 5 times negative 4 plus 5. Then negative of negative 4 squared is 16, positive 16. And then negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20 plus 5. And this is negative 4, no, positive 4. Negative 16 plus 20 is 4 plus 5. And this is equal to 9. Therefore, f of g of negative 4 is just equal to 9. Let's solve another problem here. So we're given two functions here, h of x and g of x, where h of x is equal to negative 3x plus 1 and g of x is equal to 4x plus 3. Then we find h of g of x. So that is h of g of x. So we just replace x with the whole function g of x, which is equal to 4x plus 3. So that would be h of 4x plus 3. And we replace the value of x with 4x plus 3 using this function. So that would be negative 3 times 4x plus 3 plus 1. And then we distribute 3 to the expression inside the parentheses. So that would be negative 3 times 4x, that is negative 12x, plus negative 3 times 3 is just equal to negative 9. So this is just minus 9 plus 1. Then simplifying this would be negative 12x minus 8. So this is our h of g of x. Alright, we're given here h of a, functions h of a and g of a, where h of a is equal to negative 2a cubed plus 3a, and g of a equals a minus 3. And we just have to find h of g of negative 1. So first, we need to find h of g of a. Okay, so that would be h of g of a is just h of a minus 3. A minus 3 is the whole function g of a. Then we substitute a minus 3 to the value of a here, or we replace a with a minus 3 from the function h of. So that would be negative 2 times a minus 3 cubed plus 3 times a minus 3. And then a minus 3 cubed here is just a minus 3 times a minus 3 times a minus 3. So we can expand it. So this is just equal to negative 2 times a cubed minus 9a squared plus 27a minus 27 plus 3 times a minus 3. And we can further simplify. We distribute negative 2 to the expression inside the parenthesis. So negative 2 times a cubed is negative 2a cubed. Negative 2 times negative 9 is just 18. A squared. Negative 2 times 27, that is negative 54a. Negative 2 times negative 27 is positive 54. And then this one, 3, we distribute to a minus 3. So that is plus 3a minus 9. And now we can group like terms. We can group 54a and 3a, and 54 and negative 9. So that would be negative 2a cubed plus 18a squared minus 51a plus 45. So this is our h of g of a. And now we can solve for h of g of negative 1. We just replace the value of a with negative 1. So h of g of negative 1 is just negative 2 times negative 1 cubed plus 18 times negative 1 squared minus 51 times negative 1 plus 45. And then negative 1 cubed is just negative 1. So this is negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 18 is positive 18. Negative 51 times negative 1 is positive 51 plus 45. Then solving this would give us 116. Therefore, the value of h of g of negative 1 is just equal to 116. Okay, we have here two functions, g of x and f of x. Then we find g of f of x. So g of f of x so we just plug in the whole function f of x to the value of x in the function g of x. So g of f of x is just g of x cubed minus 3x squared. So that would be 3 times x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3. And then we distribute 3 to the expression inside the parentheses. So that would be 3 times x cubed. That is 3x cubed. 3 times negative 3x squared. So that is minus 9x squared plus 3. So this is our g of f of x. Okay, let's solve another problem here. We're given two functions h of x and g of x, where h of x is equal to negative 3x plus 1 and g of x is equal to 3x cubed plus 2x squared, and we just have to find h of g of x. So h of g of x, we just have to replace the value of x from function h of x with the whole function g of x. So this is just h of 3x cubed plus 2x squared. So this is just equal to negative 3 times 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 1. And then simplifying this by distributing negative 3 to the expression inside the parentheses. So that would be negative 3 times 3x cubed is negative 9x cubed. Then negative 3 times 2x squared is negative 6x squared plus 1. So this is our h of g of x. Okay, let's solve another problem here. We're given two functions g of t and h of t, where g of t is equal to 2t plus 2 and h of t is equal to t squared minus 4, and we just have to find g of h of t. We just have to replace t with the whole function h of t. This is just g of t squared minus 4. So 2 times t squared minus 4. We replace t with t squared minus 4 plus 2. Then we distribute 2 to t squared minus 4. So this would be 2t squared minus 8 plus 2. This is just 2t squared minus 6. So this is our g of h of t.